Hi, and welcome to HUR at Home. I'm Angela Stribling, and you know this is WHUR's platform to keep you entertained from my home to yours. Tonight's no different. It's Wednesday night, so it's all about lifestyle, and let me tell you who we have on with us tonight. Tommy Davidson, one of my favorite people, favorite comedians. He's got a book, Living in Color, and we're going to talk all about that. But first, I'm going to bring in one of my friends and colleagues at WHUR. He's actually been in the radio industry for about 23 years. So don't let that baby face fool you. Let's welcome Stretch. He's on Sundays on WHUR from 2 to 7.
Yes, the baby face,
How
the
did
baby
you?
face.
That baby face. 23 years.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Time flies when you're having fun.
Yes, it does. How you doing,
Mhm.
Stretch?
I'm doing good, Angela. How are you?
I'm good. So, I always have to ask people during this whole pandemic, how's it going for you? What's different? How are you dealing with it?
Things that seem to be pretty good for me. Kind of made my routine to working from home, making sure that I get outside, exercise. Still try to find like little nuances to hang with close friends and family. But not too many people. Everyone knows I'm not too fond of hanging around too many people. But other than that, everything is cool. Everything is good. So I'm
Good.
glad sports is back on, so I get an opportunity to watch a little basketball, kind of break the monotony of you know being locked up for the most part. But other than that, everything is good.
I saw, I think on your IG, you're a golfer.
Yes. So I finally went back out and played last weekend. That was my first time playing this season. And I figured, social distancing, the best thing to do is play golf because you're not really around anybody. And so it was a good experience. Good experience. My body was hurting because, I went out there hacking like I know what I was doing. But other than that, it's a good game to play.
I love playing golf. I'm terrible at it because, like you, I'm out there hacking. Hacking is not the right approach, but
Yes,
I'm a
it's not
hacker.
the I can't play basketball anymore. So I figure I'll try something a little bit more challenging and still have an opportunity to get out there and get some good exercise in for the most part.
I love that. Now, you say challenging. That seems to be maybe one of your personality traits because you did something that a lot of people would consider very challenging. You wrote a book.
Mm,
This is your first
I
book.
sure did. My first book, yes, it's called Last Request. Boom, boom, boom.
Last
Uh,
You're right. What made you
and right
decide?
here,
Okay. Why? Why did you write this book?
honestly, it was more therapeutic for me because it's based off of a character by the name of Mason Blake Jr. In Baltimore who hosts a nightly love show, which was kind of the premise for me back in the day. I used to host a nightly love show in Baltimore, and I would just hear so many different stories from people and kind of like taking their stories and interweaving them with my own stories, and then I was like, well, there's a lot of loveless folks out here. There's a lot of stuff going on. I was like, a lot of this stuff would make for a good story. And so when I was kind of like just going through experiences with myself as far as like dating and relationships and things of that nature, I kind of just dove into writing because it was therapeutic for me to kind of like just get certain things off my chest and then take some of those stories that I did get from some listeners back in the day, change them up a little bit, put some of my own personal things up in there, and that was basically the premise of Last Request.
Uh-huh. So I've read your book, and
Oh,
actually, I bought one from you for my sister as well. We both read it,
yes,
and we
yes,
both
yes.
enjoyed it. And so reading this, it sounds like I'm reading about your love life and all your conquests and things like that. Here you are, good-looking guy in Baltimore on the radio, and just people are. I mean, this life, especially when you're really young and you're hot.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it, I'm sure, were your stories.
Some pieces. I would say, if I had to put it on a percentage, Angela, I would give it about 30%. Okay, maybe about 50% of that stuff was me. A lot of the rest of it was, again, all fabrication. It's fiction. It's fiction. It's
It's
but
good stuff.
but in essence, real life. fiction plays a part into real life as it is anyway. So they all kind of marry together. But yes, some of that stuff was based off of situations that I've encountered or other folks I've encountered, and I just remember stuff and I kept writing stuff down. I always would journal like different things that I would hear. I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So I would keep that stuff. And then I went back years later, started rereading it, and then that's how I started to develop the characters, and then thus develop the book itself.
Last request. Now that sounds like it's radio, someone requesting a song. Tell us about the title.
Yes, so it is a play off of the whole requesting of a song on the radio, but also it kind of coincides with this person, Mason Blake Jr.'s last request to this woman that he has basically fallen in love with. I don't want to give away too much, but he finds a way of messing things up with the perfect woman that he's ever thought he would ever have an opportunity to be with. And at the end, he's down on his knees, begging her, please, with that last request.
Standing away. But don't you find that this is, a lot of it really mirrors real life? The stories so real. That's why I was like, oh, Stretch is being so vulnerable and telling us all of his life. Everyone can relate to it.
I think everyone can relate to it because not only does it just reflect off of just from a love perspective, but if you get into the relationships that he has with his family. So from his mom, who he adores, to the father that, is just like, where you been? You come. I don't want to give too much of the story, but it encompasses all of that from when you think about a person who may, case in point, a celebrity who's on top of the world. They all have issues. All have issues. And so this guy, he definitely has his fair share of issues as far as his love life is concerned, his personal life, and just those relationships that he has with his family, and how all of those things kind of coincide together and make up this big bowl of gumbo that takes him on a ride that he would never, ever thought he would experience in his life.
I love that. And I love how you're able to blend what you're doing, your radio job, if you will, along with your book. And they both, they're married. So you've self-published, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What's the hardest part of this journey?
The hardest part is just, I'm a one-man band. I self-published the book. I started my own company to push my my books, because this is not going to be my one and done. I want to write more books. But as far as promotion and trying to engage your listeners, like, this is a totally different beast from doing radio. And radio, again, I've been doing it for a long time. I kind of have that niche of like getting people's attention and through just my personality alone. But now jumping into the literary world, totally different. So I'm like trying to learn these folks, trying to figure out who my audience is, how do I connect with these individuals, and again, giving out great content that will make them want to continue to follow me and ultimately purchase my books. So it's definitely hard. The hardest part is the promotion part. That's the hard part, and especially now because of Corona. Like, I was supposed to be in Atlanta last weekend for a book conference for 4 days, and that's gone.
Wow. Well, I guess you can do something virtually. I've seen you a lot on social media, promoting.
Yeah, thank God for social media, because that's been my saving grace.
It's been your saving grace. So, and I even, I miss having my events. I'd have all these events at Sobe Restaurant and Lounge, and you've come out a couple times.
Yes.
As soon as we go out to play, I'll have you back and we can help promote your book again. But for now, how can people get it?
Right now, you can purchase the book. It's available everywhere books are sold online. So Amazon, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble. Or you can go to my website, of course, and purchase the book at www.lastrequestnovel.com. Again, that's lastrequestnovel.com. Or follow me on Instagram at StretchG or DopeSense76 Media. I have a lot of social media, Angela. It's so hard for me to keep up with all this stuff.
That's okay. You know what? I really appreciate you being here tonight. You know, we've got another special guest who is an author. We know
Mm,
him for many things that he's done, and you know, he's a comedian. He's an actor. He's an author. He's a singer too. I don't even know if you knew that. So I want you to say hi, you know, before we say goodbye to you. Maybe we can do a little transition and welcome Tommy. And to you, I want to say thank you so much, Stretch, and continued success with your book. Wow, there's
thank you.
that face.
Yeah. Hey, Stretch.
Hi,
What's
Um,
up, Tommy?
hey, how's it going, man? My hat goes off to you, man. You know, you very few people out there, pursue their dreams the whole way, and have that faith and that belief to just keep on going. And it's good to see, especially in these days and times.
Hmm.
Everybody want to talk about the black man how he ain't, you know,
Mhm.
and not how we are. And you exemplify that, man. Respect.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that. Much love to you as well, man. I thoroughly enjoyed your career over the years. I love everything about you. I love that Sammy Davis. Can you hit me with a little shaboing boing real quick, man?
That would be shaboing, boing, boing. We got to get three of there. Yeah. And I think I got to lift up my hat game because your hat game is hard, babe.
Oh,
You're
thank you,
killing
man.
them.
Thank you.
You're killing them
Thank you,
with it. I
brother. I
got to give
appreciate
me a straw. I got to give me a straw thing going.
it. Yeah, I'm trying to hide the the sunroof up there, so I didn't want to come out here and show the yeah, so I just put that on.
I affectionately refer to that as the good Lord is your barber.
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you, man. I appreciate you, man. Much love to you.
You got it,
Stretch,
and good luck on that. And I'm getting that book too.
Thank you,
it's
man. I
good.
appreciate that. Thank you.
I gotta have it. Hmm.
And I got yours coming on the way as well. Thank you so much.
You're going to love his book
My
too,
man.
Stretch.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tommy, welcome. Wow.
Hey,
I am so,
Stribling. How are you doing? Is this lighting okay? I keep feeling like it's coming over my shoulder here.
as long as it's
The lighting?
is the light because you can fade it
Okay.
out a little bit. Make sure
Because I can
you face
move. I can
towards the
move. You know what I
light.
mean?
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
better.
I can switch locations. I'll switch locations. How about
Like
that?
if you're, I think if you're facing the sun, it's better.
Yeah, I'm gonna just kind of do this thing here
How you doing?
and then turn us into this. There you go.
Oh wow, look at
That
this
got me in
picture
the
behind
background
you.
there.
Look, you've
Yeah,
got
let me
your
see.
picture behind you. I've got my picture behind me. I don't think you can really see it.
Yeah.
Like it. This is the move right here. Right here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is the move right here. Okay. All right,
Wow.
all right, all right, all right.
Hi, Tommy Davidson.
How's it going, Angela Stribling? Long time knowing you. Our careers have been on a parallel for many years, many
Many
years.
times. They really have. I mean, who knew when I met you, when you were in that movie Strictly Business with
Oh,
Halle
wow.
Berry and Joseph Phillips and who else was in that one? Uh,
That was Anne Marie Johnson was in that movie. Isaiah Washington was in that movie.
yes.
Also, Samuel L. Jackson was in that movie.
Jackson was in that movie.
Yeah,
That was early in
yeah,
all your careers. And then it was right after that you did Boomerang. Weren't you in
yeah,
that?
yeah. Booty Call.
Booty
Yeah, Booty
Call.
Call was right after that. Yeah, 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 yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's a
So
real
that movie Strictly Business was my first movie, and it was I did it on purpose. I
what do you mean?
really wanted. Well, I wanted to do that character Bobby because and I had a lot of scripts to pick, but there's no movies about us working together. You know. So here was this brother from the projects in Harlem who gets with a brother from Harvard and gets with
Right.
a black bank,
Right.
gets with a black bank and starts their own business.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted the future to hold.
Yeah.
That's the reason why I picked Strictly Business was because of that aspect. It's a science fiction movie. Black people working together.
You know, I love that. I mean, and you come from Chocolate City, and
Hmm.
when I read your book, that was one of the best things I loved about it. I mean, you took it back to
Mm.
when it really was Chocolate City, like the glory days of Washington, D.C. You know, right or wrong, I mean,
Yeah.
good or bad, just
Oh
culturally.
yeah, right all the way.
I mean, just what
Right
this
all the way.
used to be. And I love your book, Living in Color.
Thank
Oh my
you. Thank you so
God.
much.
It was such it was so honest. I mean, I think oftentimes when people are
Mm.
writing, their own autobiography, they want to paint this picture, I this, I was that. You were so vulnerable.
Hmm.
You showed us, I mean, it was the warts and all. You took us through,
Yeah, yeah, it was
right?
yeah. I did that book to free myself, you know. And my cousin is the one who told me that. I was in Harlem doing a book event, and before he got in the subway, he looked at me and he said, "I want you to remember something. You wrote this book to free yourself, you
Mm.
know." And when I thought about it, he's absolutely right. To free myself from any opinion of myself, to free myself to have an open mind about the future, to free myself of the mistakes I've made in the past and live for today,
Yeah.
and to free myself to serve others.
How beautiful is that? How beautiful is that? It's
Yeah.
true. I mean, and by telling your own truth, you give other people, kind of a permission to kind of be their authentic selves with no shame. It's like, look, this is what it was. This was my life, and read it, and I think you'll be enriched by it. I think everyone will. Um,
Yeah.
for those who
Yeah.
haven't
That was the
read
goal.
it, it's not just about behind the scenes of In Living Color. This is about Tommy Davidson's life. I mean, you talk about
Hmm.
the very beginning,
Hmm.
how, right? I mean, when you
Yeah.
just, when
Was
someone says, "What's your book about?"
abandoned.
Yeah, you were
Yeah.
abandoned.
The book is about, the book is about a little boy who was left in the trash and found by a woman, pretty much randomly, but
Yeah,
not really, not
it
in
was
a,
all
not in a, not
God.
in a spiritual,
Yeah.
not in a spiritual sense. Yeah. And going from there and my journey. I entitled the book "Living in Color" because I lived in color.
Yeah.
My mother, who found me, was white, and my family is white, but I knew nothing about color. All I knew is that they loved me, and I grew up in Wyoming and Fort Collins, Colorado, with animals and like mountains and streams, and it was wonderful. I was just this kid, and then we moved to Washington D.C. in 1968,
Okay.
right when Martin Luther King was
Oh,
assassinated during the
yeah.
riots. Yeah,
Woo. What a
and so
rough
that was
time.
an awakening for a 5-year-old, to be in the car watching fires and tanks go by and people just acting crazy. And we finally settled into Northeast Washington D.C., Trinidad they call it, where the area, and we went to play with the kids in the neighborhood, and those black kids kicked our ass every day,
Wow.
every day. I mean, were chasing us home, and they were calling my brother and my sister white cracker, and they were calling me white cracker lover. So
Oh.
finally, I just got tired of it, and I went to my mother. I said, "Why do they keep calling me a white cracker lover? Because I like graham crackers, you know."
Oh, how
I'm
sweet.
5 years old.
You
I'm
don't know.
5 years old.
Where can
Yeah,
I get my graham crackers?
right. So I asked her. She said, "Well, that's what people your color call people our color when they don't like them." And
And you're
so,
like,
so the next question was, "Well, what color are you?" And they said, "We're white." And I said, "Well, what color am I?" They said, "You're black." I said, "No, you're not white because I learned my colors from the crayons. You're like peach, you know,
all right.
and in the crayons, and in the crayons, I'm brown, and I was taught that those are the colors. See, when I grew up around a lot of animals and farms and, in the Midwest. So I thought whatever we were, I was a brown one of those.
I got it.
So
Oh,
I
that's
could see a cat would have kittens. And a cat could be a black cat and have a gray kitten, a brown kitten, or a white kitten, a speckled kitten. or horse. A horse can have a colt. The horse could be a brown horse and have a black colt.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that I was a brown one or whatever we were.
Yeah.
So it was
And
confusing.
that's right
So
there.
we
I mean,
moved. Yeah.
the truth of it all, though. I mean, we're all human. Come on. That's the
Mm-hmm.
truth. That
Mm-hmm.
was, an innocent perspective, and it was the truth. Yeah.
It was the truth. So we moved from there to Wheaton, Maryland, and that's the first time I heard the word nigger because
Wow.
I grown men were chasing me home. I
Now,
mean, I'd be on my bike and
because
I'd
you
look up
the
and
white
there'd be
family?
because they were white and they hated me.
Oh, they were white.
You
Okay.
know, yeah. When I moved to Wheaton, Maryland, it was out in the suburbs.
I got it.
So it was. I heard that word every day.
Wow.
People chasing me and throwing stuff through our window, and it was really bad. So I went to my mother and I was like, "Who are these niggas? We gotta stay away from them." Man, these are some bad people. You know what I mean? Whoever they are. And she explained to me, well, that's what people our color call people your color when they don't like them. So I thought that was stupid.
Yeah.
And here I am,
Was.
confused now
Right.
because whose side am I on?
Right. The
And
peach
and
people
and
or the
ever
brown
since
people.
then, right. So finally, we moved to Silver Spring, right on the DC line, place called Rosemary Hills, the Summit Hill area on 16th and East West Highway,
Okay.
and it was a more integrated neighborhood. But still, a group of white teenagers chased me and were calling me the N word.
Goodness.
And the black guys came from nowhere, and the white guys ran the other way. So I've been black ever since.
Okay. And that's when you knew.
That was a defining moment right there.
Yes, absolutely. You
And
like
finding out what that was and what that was all about, and finding out my history, and yeah, my mother was strong with that. She made sure that I knew who I was.
good.
In first grade, I put up when they did the Pledge of Allegiance. I put up the Black Power fist, and I got in trouble.
I bet.
I got sent to the principal's office. And my mom liked to do stuff like this. She showed up to the school and said, "What's the problem?" Said he holded the Black Power symbol. So she said, "That's all he knows about who he is." He listens to Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud. And he is. He'll learn the Pledge of Allegiance just like any other student, but he is who he is.
I love your mom. God
And
bless
that,
her.
yeah, and that's how it broke down.
That's beautiful. And you talk a lot about these types of stories, you're learning and you're, growing up in DC. And, like you said, that was a
Hmm.
defining moment. And, I think about what's happening now and what was happening about a month ago with the whole George Floyd protests and everything that's going on. And still,
Hmm. Hmm.
the political climate. And then someone who grew up the way that you grew up. What is your perspective on all of that, of what's happening right now? Do you think that
I
really a
kind of,
happening?
I just think that it is serving sort of, it's serving sort of a deterrent. It's a camouflage. Yeah, I believe that there's some stuff going on in the financial world that we know nothing about, and there's some shifts that are going on. And
That's it.
when you rob when you're robbing a bank, it's best to have your identity concealed, and
Mhm.
also makes it easier if you cause distractions.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden, when you think about this as a cycle, we have an African American president for 8 years.
Hmm.
He reduces nuclear arms globally. The first ever leader of the world that says, let's take the bombs that will blow up the world and reduce them, and won
Yeah.
a Nobel Peace Prize. He also tried to get health care for Americans, and he served 2 terms
Hmm.
excellently. And so when I look at it in a historical sense, we take the lowly slave who is not supposed to be anything and worth anything,
Hmm.
and we were the commander in chief of the most powerful country in the world and ran it with dignity.
That's right.
And so, what's the coincidence that all of a sudden such an extreme change as far as race goes?
Tear that
You know,
down.
and right. And so, the way I see it is, you know, what the power structure is trying to psychologically ingrain in us is that the best African that you had is not worth the worst white man that we got.
Wow.
It's kind of a sight game,
Oh my God. That
you know.
that's
It's kind of
crazy.
a sight game
Yeah.
because if one of us can become the leader of the free world, and there's millions of us, then if somebody had a problem with that or fear of that, they would start to cause a lot of confusion.
Hmm. And it's all fear based. Yeah. I hear you. It's all fear based. All of it.
Yeah. Interestingly enough, I used to when I read the Bible and I exposed to miracles, you know.
Mhm.
So, the parting of the Red Sea, I'm going, come on, you know. But, I'm witnessing one in my own lifetime. I'm
Mm.
witnessing the whole world being stopped.
That's right.
Everyone asked to go inside. Everyone asked to go in front of their TV. And it's pointed out to us who's doing the evil.
Yeah. You know what? When you really stop and think about it and look at it, these are unprecedented times and it's scary. It's scary,
Yeah, it was
but it's still
captivated. It was a captive audience
absolutely.
to say, hey, here's your opportunity to set things straight.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's up to all of us.
Wow. So from
I mean, that's the
here,
way I see it.
yeah, and it's interesting. It's a very interesting perspective, and I get it. I totally get it. I think people have seen it. People have seen it up close and personal. Unfortunately, so much the evil that sits in the White
Mhm.
House, and if people were not persuaded or convinced to vote him out of office by now, I don't know what it's going to take. People
Well,
have to.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Those are, these are human problems, and we're always going to be human beings, humans just being. But when we start to become mankind instead of being the human race,
How about that?
then we're doing something. Yeah.
Yeah,
There was
and
a song when I was a kid. I'm sorry.
no, you go on.
There was a song when I was a kid, and it went, when the moon is in the seventh house and Jupiter aligns with Mars and peace on the universe and love will steer the stars. This is the dawning of the age of Aquarius, right? So now that was
That's a
the
pretty voice,
dawning of the age of
Tommy.
Aquarius.
That was nice.
Thank you.
Yes, thank
That
you.
was the dawning of that age,
Hmm.
you know.
Fifth dimensions. Thank
And
you.
but love seems to be steering the stars now.
Yes, that's right.
You
This
see,
is, yeah, it's a new day. And honestly,
it's a
with
new day.
what's been going on, nothing surprises me anymore. Anything can happen.
You better
Eventually,
believe it. You
something's
better
going to
believe it.
appear in the sky without,
Yeah,
mm-mm.
right.
But you know
But
what?
being of African descent, that's built into the fabric of my perception.
Mm.
Nothing surprises me because we've been through so much.
So much. And we've handled it with grace.
Yeah.
We've
Well, I
handled it.
mean, how do
Come
you
out.
upset people? How do you upset a whole race of people who had nothing? How do you upset them with nothing?
How about that?
We
It's like, oh
we've
my
always
God.
made something out of nothing.
We
Yeah.
know we're going to
we're
move
we're
on.
so equipped. We're so equipped for nothing coming.
Yeah,
You know what I
there's no
mean?
question about it. Yeah. And I want to talk about you. I want to talk more about your book. And you did talk about behind the scenes of In Living Color. And man, I did not miss
Yeah.
one show. Most of us didn't. Most of us were just front
I
and
love
center.
that show. Yeah, we
Oh my
that's the thing
God.
about our show. We really loved our show too.
Yes, you
We
could
really
tell.
loved our show. Yeah,
And
yeah.
your characters, where did you get these characters from? The characters that you came up with or
They
that
were
you
already there. They were already there. All the places that I worked in DC, from the IHOP to the Roy Rogers on Georgia Avenue, you know, to the Ramada Inn in Virginia. I used to work at the National Naval Medical Hospital over in Bethesda. You
huh.
know, all the people that I come across, all the people that I come across growing up in DC, whether it's my kung fu teacher from Lynn's Kung Fu on Georgia Avenue,
Wow.
or my teacher, Miss Coleman, who was determined to teach me math, for all those experiences, my other teacher, Miss Sandberg, who tried to get me into Parsons Art School, you know, and years later, she comes to a club and she goes, you saved my life, and I said, well, what do you mean? She said, I was in a coma. I
Oh,
had brain tumors. I
oh,
was in a coma for 3 months. They didn't know what was going to happen with me. And I heard your voice and woke up and you were on the TV. And I
oh
said,
my
no, that wasn't me saving your life. That was the love you gave me coming back around,
God.
because
Wow.
she was determined to get me in that art school. You know,
What a moment.
it's these kind of things that are in the book on purpose,
Hmm.
because if anything, we need strength and inspiration,
Yeah.
you know? And so, like there was a guy, Reggie, who used to walk through my neighborhood, and he had muscles. I mean, he was a handsome guy, always had his stuff together. And he would stop every time and bend down to me. This ever since I was 6 years old. And he said, how you doing, little Tommy? And I'm doing good. And he said, that's good. And we walk away. And I kept going, where does he keep going? Because my neighborhood, they were selling drugs and people,
Okay.
it was going down. So I'm like, wherever he's going must be good. So I always wanted to go out there, and
Yeah.
see what the good was.
Yeah.
So here I am years later in front of, formerly it was called Bailey's restaurant in Silver Spring. Good friend of mine, Emmanuel Bailey, owned it, and I'm out front, and this is after In Living Color. This is after so many successes. And this trash truck drives up, and out jumps Reggie.
What?
And Reggie walked, yeah. And Reggie walked up to me just like he always did. He said, how you doing, little Tommy? I said, I'm doing good. I'm doing really good.
Oh.
So he walked to his truck. And right before he got in, he turned around and he looked at me. He said, I always knew you was going to be something.
Oh my goodness, you're going to make me cry. That is a
And
beautiful
gone.
story.
And
Yes.
gone.
Yeah. And it's amazing
Yeah.
how moments like that, people who take the
Hmm.
time to say hello and, that they believe in you or that you're going to make it, it really does make a big
Hmm.
difference. And this doesn't have to
It
be
makes
your
it makes a
family.
difference.
Yeah. 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 It's
Yeah.
good.
It makes a big difference. I worked at Naval Medical um, Hospital for probably about 6 years during the time when I could have been getting in trouble. I mean, I grew up in
Yeah.
DC. There's a lot of negative influence there.
A lot of
And so
trouble
I
to
ended
be.
up going back, man. So I ended up going back there to see a veteran of one of the wars, and he had lost his legs. So the year before, I had gone to visit him, and a young black man from Mississippi, and was very proud of his role in what he represented for our armed services. So I promised him, I'm going to come and see you. I'm coming back next year. So I went to go see him, and they wouldn't let me upstairs.
Oh
See, the
no.
Veterans Hospital got changed, it got changed from Walter Reed to Bethesda, the same hospital I worked at.
Wow.
So they wouldn't let me upstairs, Angela. They were like, you can't see the veterans anymore. So I walked down to the very kitchen that I worked at, and Ruby and Ruth were there.
Oh
They
my
used to work with me,
goodness.
and both of them started just crying when they saw me, and the people were all that were around me. They started telling stories. They started telling stories about me, and Ruth told this one story. She said one day when I first started working here, I heard this singing voice from way back in the back. And I was like, who is that? So she went back there and she saw this little boy stacking boxes singing. And she said, I told him back then, I really hope you do something with that. And she was
Hmm.
just crying. She said, I'm so glad that he did,
Oh
and I
man.
went back over to see the veteran, right? Because they
Okay.
were going to decide they were going to let me upstairs.
Okay.
And so they told me, no, you can't. But the young man came out of the PX while I was standing there. And he said, Mr. Davidson, you came back to see me.
There
I
you
said,
go.
yeah, I came to see you. And I see you kept your legs too. He said, yeah, and I got me a brand new pair of Jordans too.
Okay.
Hey,
I love that you
but
come.
yeah, what my
Yes.
eyes have been able to see, you
Oh, that's
know?
beautiful. Yes, yes, because it's important. I mean, you grew up here, you came, there was no guarantee that you were going to be able to get out of the neighborhood. Not only did you get out of
Oh,
the
yeah.
neighborhood, you've
Hmm.
made the town look good because you're successful. And to come back though. And I noticed when you were here, I think it was the beginning of the
It was
year.
in March. It was in March,
It
yeah.
was right
It was,
before this whole
but it was in February. It's the beginning of February, yeah.
February. But I noticed
Black History Month. Black History Month, yeah.
Black History Month. And a lot of friends that you had from back in the day, you keep up with them. You kind of, you don't outgrow them. And it's
Oh, I mean, I can't.
sure there are some that
I
you might have
can't.
outgrown, but I love the fact that you're still Tommy. You're still little Tommy to some people.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the book is when I talk about when people ask me what's my greatest accomplishment, I always say being Barbara Davidson's youngest son, Tommy,
Oh, yeah.
because
That's
of the things that she taught me about life and the world and race and all of the things.
your humanity.
You know,
Now, there's a
yeah.
you are family on the thread here. I see Anthony Moreno. I see Al Payne is our program director, and
Hmm.
let's pick up. Do people come up to you and say things like that a lot? Like your characters kind of
Yeah,
running.
pick it up. Who's standing on side of State? Pick it up. Yeah, yeah. I get it all. Bam! I get all of it. Did you miss me? Yeah, I get it all. I get it all. And I've been lucky that way. I've been lucky that way.
Oh, what is this with nephew Tommy at Eagle Bank Arena? That's something.
Is that nephew Tommy?
I think so. I think he
Is
just.
the nephew Tommy? Oh man, I love that man. I
Yeah,
love that man.
I love him too. He's so
I
funny.
love that man.
God,
What's up, nephew, man? That he is so. Oh my, he is off the hook.
funny. So funny.
Oh my.
I think being a comedian has got to be so hard doing stand up. Hard from the standpoint of, or maybe it's just hard early
Hmm.
on, but when you're organic like you and you can just, stand there and say somebody's heckling you and you'll make it funny and turn it back on them. That is a true talent because you're just out there. I mean, at least like when you're a singer, you might get some mercy clapping. People, they'll just at least
Right,
clap.
right.
Telling jokes. And if you're not funny, people are not kind.
Yeah, it just was one of them things that was built into me because Washington D.C. is the place where we joan and we joan hard, you
Right?
know, and yeah, man, joan they
That's
call it snapping in New York, they call it busting on you in L.A. But
it's Joan here.
yeah. There's some people call it the dozens or whatever you want to call it, but D.C. was like a training camp for that. So I came out of there sharp, Yeah, I came out of there so sharp, I can make a grown man cry.
It's funny. But do people know? Well, you know what? I'm sure some know because in some of your bits, you throw a little bit of your singing out there. But I don't know if people know just how good of a singer you are. That is something that I've wanted to hear more of from you. Why haven't we?
Hmm.
I sound like the lady
Well,
in the
because
hospital.
yeah, right, right. Well,
Why
because
haven't been
everything is
singing?
everything is timing.
Okay.
Everything is timing, and I want to do it. I want to do it good. I want to do it good. So that's been the strong point in my career is that I focus on what's in front of me.
Okay.
So it was stand-up comedy when I started, stand-up comedy, and that was the focus. And this was a plan that me and my manager had put together for 15-year plan. Stand-up comedy first,
Okay.
then comedy specials. From there, television. From television to movies. From movies to directing, producing, and authoring.
Hmm.
And that is where I
What's
am
that?
now.
Singing is
We're
next
in
on
the
that.
plan.
You're in the
Yeah.
plan.
Singing
Your
and yeah,
manager.
and singing. Yeah. And singing was that last frontier. That last frontier because it's what I did first. I was a singer first. I was talking to some friends of mine, and they were talking about talent shows back in DC that I was doing when I was 6 years old, singing.
Wow.
So singing is my first love, you know? And
So is it
so,
the manager that you decided to go the other route, or was this you just didn't want to come out with your first love?
well, the thing was that my comedy is so unique,
Yeah.
and I can sing while I'm doing it anyway.
Yes. There
You
you go.
know? Yeah.
Yeah.
So stuff, that gave me Lou Rawls, you'll never find
Oh,
ding 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 a head as big as mine. Or or Lionel Richie, sail on down the line, cause funny how the times may go, cause my wife just broke my nose, cause she called me cheating. You know what I mean? It's like I could just go on. Prince, Prince, just the other day is walking down the street feeling kind of tired and high. Stopped into McDonald's, I was kind of hungry, got a burger and some fries. The lady gave me the bag and looked me in the face and hit me with a nice smile. I got her in the corner and looked in my bag. She forgot my fries. You know what I mean? Fries.
that is so messed up. I love.
But I started out opening for singers too. I started out opening at the Carter Baron,
Wow.
with Star Point, Evelyn Champagne King,
Okay.
Patti LaBelle. I
Was
went on
that in
tour
your
with
book?
Luther Vandross and Anita Baker.
Beautiful. I don't remember reading that.
Yeah,
That's in there. Okay.
yeah. I
Yeah.
opened for all singers before I even went to a comedy club.
So tell me, when are we
It
going to
was
hear you?
singers.
Are you going to sing for us tonight?
Let's see. I was
She's
just
vocal.
thinking about. Oh, I was thinking about Luther. The sun is shining. There's plenty of light. A new day is dawning, sunny and bright. But after I've been crying all night, sun is cold and the new day seems old. Since I lost my baby, whoa, since I lost my baby.
Now,
Next time I'll be kinder to my baby. Won't you please hear me find her? And then he goes, oh, don't know what I'm gonna do. No. I don't know since I lost my baby.
yes, bravo.
Luther,
I need to get some clapping soundtracks made.
yeah. And we ended up being the best of friends, me and Luther.
Were you?
We ended up being the best of friends. I met everybody that I grew up singing to.
Beautiful. Do you know,
Stevie
I
Wonder was a good.
met Luther.
Huh?
Never met Luther Vandross. I never met him.
Wonderful man. Wonderful man. We had a great relationship. We talked all the time.
Oh, that's
He really,
beautiful.
really taught me a lot about show business. Now,
Yeah.
one time he got mad at me. He got mad at me. He had come to my comedy special in New York. And so I busted him down about eating cheeseburgers and whatnot. Man, that boy didn't call me for 2 years. And
Wait.
finally, you
Oh
know,
God.
yeah, for 2 years I called him and he wouldn't call me back. So finally, remember Kid and Play?
Mhm.
You
Of
know,
course.
yeah, Kid is my best friend. So he had said, I saw
Oh.
Luther in New York. And he said, Luther mad at you, boy. And I said, why? Because of what you made fun of him at your show. So I'm at
Wait,
so I'm at Universal's right. So Angela, I'm at Universal Studios at his show. And see, I'm in the third row. You know,
okay.
Eddie Murphy, Arsenio Hall, all of them is in the front row. In the second row. I'm in the third,
Okay.
Luther stops his show in his last song and he goes, I want to acknowledge one of the geniuses in our business. He
Uh-oh.
sings, he dances, he's funny, he's an amazing actor. You know, he goes, stand up, Tommy Davidson.
Oh.
And I was like, oh my God. So after I ran backstage after the show and got in the dressing room before he came in there, and I said, what was that about? He said, I was mad at you, but I can't stay mad at you. I love you.
Oh, I
Yeah,
love that
yeah,
story. That's a good way to say I
yeah,
forgive you. That was beautiful.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I was like, there's no way he's talking about me,
Because you figure he's not
and
even
he
returning
was.
my calls.
Yeah, and he was, yeah.
But but that's I mean,
So I've been blessed.
so many people love
Go
you,
ahead.
Tommy. So many people love you. I mean, and I'm glad that people who have an opportunity and a platform let you know that. I mean, but they're, us out
Yeah,
here who
yeah.
you don't get a chance to interact with. There's so many people who love you and who have followed your career and love what you do. I'm looking at the comments section here. Tony Robinson wrote, what do you miss the most about the DMV?
Uh, I miss the vibe. There's something about Washington where, you know, believe it or not, we ain't the kind of city that don't get along.
Hmm.
We got this kinship in DC that's really something else.
It's so
And
true.
everybody got something on it. Yeah, and everybody got something on their mind.
Hmm.
Everybody trying to do something.
Right.
You know, it's a very, very, very little number of people who don't have passion and ambition
Hmm.
from DC.
Hmm.
And there's something about, and then the music is deep. You know, the music you gonna get it all in Washington. And anywhere after 7:30, things slow down, and the
Hmm.
music takes you through the night. And that quiet storm
Hmm.
is a it's a staple for our city. It
Hmm.
says something about our city.
Hmm.
So we have songs in our city that represent our city and are part of our city.
Hmm.
And there's a certain vibe about DC. And DC, and it's a derivative of what DC is historically.
Hmm.
Duke Ellington,
Yes,
Marvin Gaye,
that's right.
Van McCoy. You know,
Oh,
we
heck
just can
yeah.
go on. Petey Green, yeah, Petey Green. Petey Green,
Jerome Allen Bell just
Barry. Just
the DC
we just
vibe.
come from a city of we come from a city of uh, very deep spiritual direction.
Yes, that's right. And you feel
Hmm.
it as soon as you get here. First time I came to DC,
And
even
you
though I
feel it as soon
wasn't
as you get there.
born
Hmm.
here, but I've spent my entire adult life here. I felt it. I was like, you know what? If I get a job there or not, I'm moving to DC.
Right.
I've been here ever
Yeah,
since.
DC. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yes,
And
I
it's
love it.
even more beautiful than before.
Hmm.
You know. And I'd like to say that DC is ours for actually the taking
Hmm.
because it's about consolidation
Yeah,
and it's about consolidation of wealth and resources.
yeah.
So as long as we stick together, you know, we can acquire what we want to.
That's right, honey. That's where we
We can
are.
acquire what we want
Created.
to.
That's
Yeah,
so true. Yeah.
we
And
can
I
acquire what we want to.
you have many people pursue their dreams. Some are
Hmm.
successful, some are not. But you're a very intelligent person, and you surround
Thank
yourself
you. Thank you.
with intelligent people, who keep you, on the mark. And so to be able to be a comedian, be an actor, be a singer,
Hmm. Hmm.
all the stuff that you're doing, and you're still creating, you're still going,
Hmm.
you're on track. That is you've
Yeah.
got the
Yeah.
formula, and you're kind of working with that formula. I don't know if you have the same manager or not, but the formula remains the
Mhm.
same. And yeah, we're all just so glad.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much. It's a simple mix of faith and
Hmm.
truth and service,
Hmm. Yeah.
and using that as a barometer to live by. You know, I'm imperfect, but I
As we
try.
all are, but
And I try my best. I try my best. You see, and that really goes a long way. And I've seen examples. I've been given examples. I was fired from Naval Medical Hospital by a woman named Mary Campbell. Okay.
you remember
And
her?
Mary Campbell told me, yeah, but you know, she basically set my life on a path that I'm on now. She said, you are not going to like this, but you're going to thank me one day. She said, you run around here, you can come in late and you're doing what you want to do, you know, and nobody really disciplines you because you're so talented and funny. Everybody love you. She said, but I'm going to tell you something. You have got to change your ways. And I'm not doing you no good keeping you here. So she fired me. And boy, was I mad. I was like, oh man, I was mad. I just got me a little car from the HUD credit union. I thought I was something. And she even told me, yeah, yeah. But I got me a little Toyota from HUD credit union, boy. And she told me, I know you got that little car, so I guess we're gonna be driving around to get you a new job. And I'm like, boy, I want to pull her wig off. So she lucky that it just right. So 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 years later, I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and it all of a sudden occurred to me that was the first step in my journey.
Hmm.
I called the hospital to talk to her, and she had
Wow.
recently passed away.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, but she was right.
Yeah.
She was right.
That was tough love right there.
She was right. She
Yeah.
was right.
Yeah. Yeah. I love stories like that. And I love that you remember all the people. You remember the people who made the
Oh
difference,
yeah,
you know,
man. I can tell
wherever
you. I can run off some names, boy.
yeah, you
Yeah,
remember.
I'm Al. Yeah, Al Dale. Al Dale was very
Wow. National Park
instrumental
System.
in my career. Ron Sewell, another friend of mine. It just goes catfish. I mean, it goes on and on. The list goes on and on and on.
I
You know,
love
and
it.
and and I was embraced. I was embraced. You know,
Hmm.
I was taught to respect people.
Hmm.
And respect what they're about. You know, and let them be who they are. And
Do
that's what really sustains me is
do
to look for opportunities where I can enhance someone's life as opposed to trying to manipulate my way through this
yeah,
path,
yeah,
you know. And it's not easy to do
yeah.
in a country that's central cultural trajectory is competition.
Right.
But
And
the only
yeah,
thing that's
with
yeah, and what
industry.
bothers me about yeah, but what bothers me most about capitalism is that there always got to be a loser for it to work.
Right. And that's a short-term
You
win.
see?
I think your route, being service-oriented, focusing on, yes, of course, I want to win, but I want you to win too. That's the long-term win.
Hmm.
That's the love you were talking.
Hmm.
So you've got some
Yeah.
comments here. I'm trying to be cognizant of everybody. We all want you. We all want a part of you. Stephanie Freeman said, "Hi, Tommy. This is Stephanie."
What's
Hey,
up?
Stephanie Freeman.
What's up, Steph?
And then Stretch said, "Are you excited about where'd it go? Proud Family reboot?"
Yes, I am. Proud family coming back here. Today we at Proud Snacks. Somebody, we're gonna do it all night. You know, we are so happy about that thing. You have no idea. And it's the only black running cartoon, on television. And the Proud Family is back.
That is so exciting. When does it
Back.
actually start?
You know what? I'm doing episodes right here from my house.
Oh,
So I
good.
don't know exactly when they're gonna drop, but they're gonna drop.
Okay.
And me and Martin, we reunited on a project.
Oh my
I'm not
God.
gonna mention the name of it, but yeah, we're both executive producing a project on BET, and I'm the star.
What
And
is it?
it's
Varnell
just
Hill?
something I'm really excited about.
Is Varnell
Really
Hill
excited
coming
about. I'm
back?
Mount the world.
Okay, I won't ask you any more questions, but Stretch, I'm so glad that you asked that question.
I'll just say, did you miss me? That's all.
Good, we got it. We're just going to take that. That'll work.
Right, right.
People who want to get your book, they can actually buy it everywhere. All you need to do
They
is,
can buy it everywhere, and Amazon, the Barnes and Nobles that are open, and mostly online. I did an audiobook too. And the interesting thing about the audiobook is I did it myself.
you did the voice yourself?
I did,
I
yeah, I
need
did it
an
myself. Yeah,
audiobook. I have to
it's me
have it.
on it. So it's like one of those things where I never imagined that I'd ever be in a position to do something like that.
That
You
never
know,
happened.
you
That
know.
never happened.
I mean, here I was catching the J2 and the J1. I'm down Georgia up Georgia Avenue, up East West Highway to go to work. You know
What
what I
is it, the
mean?
bus?
And yeah, that's right, the J1 boy. And I remember there was this one bus driver, and this is in the book. Um, February, it was cold as I don't know what, and I stand out there at that bus stop, and this bus driver would look me in the face and drive by,
I remember reading
and I was
that.
late to work.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I was infuriated, and I was like, if I ever catch him, I'm whipping his ass. But you know what it taught me?
Hmm.
It taught me I got this conviction. I never want to put myself in a position where somebody can control my destiny and my movement.
How about that?
And
Hmm.
so from that, I drew the life I have. Plus, I'm on full scholarship anyway because my great 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 grandmother pushed out of an intestine of a pig so that I can grow up strong. And her faith kept me going. So I got a scholar. I'm on full scholarship to travel the world on her inheritance and
Yeah.
all the wealth that she built and
Wow.
her husband built for this world. I'm on full scholarship. I got a free ride.
That's beautiful, Tommy. Yeah. So, everyone
My
should.
ticket has already been paid for
That is
through
amazing.
tobacco, through tobacco, through sugar, through cotton that we put on their drawers.
Hmm.
Okay, through all of those things, I'm on full scholarship.
Hmm. Very well said, too. Hmm. So, with that, you've got the book. You're going to do this
Living in color.
secret thing on BET, and the
Uh
music.
huh.
When can we hear your
Yeah.
music?
You know what? I'm working on it now, and I'm finally in the studio doing my thing. You
Good.
know,
Very
and
good.
you can play it if you want to. I'll send it to you.
Okay. So,
Um, you know, I know how it is. You know, the radio business. So, but my first one's complete, and I love it. I did it with Jeff Lorber,
oh, very nice.
and yeah, and I'm working with Jeff Lorber, Gerald Albright, Rick
Oh, those
Braun. I
are
mean,
my
I'm working with
boys. These are the
everybody.
cats.
Steve Arrington,
Yes.
Bootsy. I'm
Oopsie.
gone. You Diamond from the Ohio players,
What?
Joe. I mean, you know,
Joe.
I'm
This
working with who I want to work with.
R&B vibe. What's the vibe you're going for?
You know what? Right now I'm gonna go smooth jazz right now
Okay.
because it's such a challenge to me. You
Smooth jazz.
know,
Nice too.
and oh yeah, I want to start that way,
Yeah.
but I want to stay limitless like I
That's
am as a performer.
yeah.
You know,
That's so
there is no bounds. There
that's
is no
your life.
bounds.
There are no bounds. That makes total sense.
Uh-uh. Uh-uh.
Tell me, thank
Yeah.
you. I could talk to you all night, but I know you've got things to do. I thank everybody for just joining us in this conversation. And tell me, I just love you so much. Continued success to you. You're such a
Thank you. I love you too, Angela.
human being.
Thank you. Thank you. And you've done a great job with your career, and you've
Thank
done a great job with your life because I've watched you from the very beginning. And the
thank
one thing that you give me and you give your audience is consistency of your heart.
thank you. Thank you. Thank you
Hmm.
very much.
Hmm.
So this is mutual love right here.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
wait,
is.
before
We like it. We like M2 Man here. Yeah, we like Atlantic Star. If you said that there's something wrong, then I must mend it. I must mend your love in time. Oh, I should never. You know the song.
Woo!
You
Yes.
sing you baby. You know the song.
Felt that in my soul.
Yeah, yeah, you know the song. You know the
Good.
song.
Wait, give me a little bit more. What was that?
If you said that was something wrong, then I must mend it. I must mend your love in time. We know that song. We know that song.
Come on.
We know that
Tell
song. Hmm.
me I love you. I love you so much.
Love
You've
you
got
too,
so
girl.
many different talents. You can just pick whichever one that you want to focus on, and it's all good. Thank
Yeah,
you
it's
for
all
joining.
good.
For people who want to connect with you on
Thanks for
social,
having me.
yeah, you're
I just do IG. So it's the real Tommy Cat on IG. And then if you want to check out my schedule or anything about me, it's TommyDavidson.net. I also have my my apparel company, tongue in
no, I
cheek.
do not know.
So
Tell me, where is
huh?
this? Where can we get your?
It's online.
And
Yeah.
what are we selling? What do we
So
have? Like hats,
huh?
clothing. What kind of clothing?
Yeah.
What are we?
But for now we're going for ties and
Oh,
accessories.
okay.
Yeah.
We got your
So
phone starting
you
to ring.
know we
That's our
yeah we doing it. Yeah. We doing it big. Phones is ringing already. You see that? So
exactly.
yeah, I've come a long way from going down to Cavaliers on F Street or down up against the wall. You know what I'm saying? That was the place to go. Yeah,
Oh, I love
for
that.
dudes. You know what I mean? Or Flag Brothers. You know what I mean? People know what I'm talking about. We used to go and shop at Hex. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, yeah. This DC, this
all those
DC, baby.
all those stores are gone, all of them. But that's what they're doing now is they're calling you, getting some of those ties.
That's right. That's right.
Tommy, thank you. Keep doing what you're doing. We're going to keep checking BET's schedule to see when your secret show is on. And for those who have not gotten your book yet, I recommend getting his book, Living in Color. It's really a good read. And I read it so fast. I think I read it in like 3 days. And I could have even read it sooner if I didn't
Nice,
eat and sleep.
nice.
Yeah. Good read. You don't want to put it down, really. It's good stuff.
Yeah,
All
and
right,
it's a the thing about the book is that everybody who wrapped themselves around me
Mm-hmm.
and showed me the way,
Mm-hmm. They're,
everybody who influenced me,
yeah.
all of all of them are in the book.
Yes, they are. Yeah.
All of them are in the book. Their truths are in the
So,
book.
yeah.
So my book is what I consider to be a social index,
Hmm.
you know, or a spiritual map.
Okay, I like that too. Yeah.
So that if you ever need any coordinates to any problem that I went through, whether that be, substance, whether that be relationship problems, whether that be job problems or personal relationship problems, whether
Yeah.
that be education, whether that be, whatever that is, you know, I've gone through it. And
Yeah.
so I just put down all of the things that helped me
Mhm.
so that it might help the reader.
Yeah. And you're so, as I said at the very beginning of this conversation, you're very transparent and vulnerable, and you let it all hang out in this book. He's not trying to save face at all. And for that,
Hey,
and that
man.
made it such a
Yeah.
good read. This was
Yeah.
stuff. And it was
Hey, you can't save your face and your ass at the same time.
no, one or the other.
Yeah, it's one or the other.
Thank you, my love. Have a great night, and hopefully we can do this again soon.
Yes, yes, anytime. You just let me know.
All right,
Love
Jim.
you.
Love you
All
too.
right. Love you, DC.
DC loves you. Wow, that was an amazing conversation with the one and only Tommy Davidson. I love him so much, and I'm so proud of him. I know DC claims him. He's from here, and we're all proud of him. Thank you for checking us out on HUR at Home. For the full lineup, we've got something for you every single week. WHUR sponsors this whole thing, it's on our platform. Go to WHUR.com. I'm Angela Stribling. Have a good night.